Hello everyone. Welcome to a deep dive into Squid Game Season 2, the highly anticipated continuation of the twisted survival thriller that captivated millions worldwide. After the shocking cliffhanger at the end of Season 1, we pick up right where we left off, with our protagonist Seong Gi-hun's journey becoming even darker and more complex. As the story unfolds, the stakes are higher, alliances become more fragile, and the games themselves grow even deadlier. If you thought Season 1 was intense, wait until you see what Season 2 has in store. We're diving into every episode, exploring the shocking twists and emotional roller coasters that will leave you at the edge of your seat. So, let's get into it. Episode 1. Bread and Lottery Season 2 kicks off in full force, and we're thrown right into the action. Seong Gi-hun, who barely escaped the deadly Squid Game in Season 1, has returned this time with a new mission. He's determined to stop the horrific game from ever happening again. No longer a participant, Jihun becomes an investigator of sorts. The episode begins by showing Jihun struggling to find peace in his life after the chaos of Season 1. He's living modestly, with personal and financial troubles, haunted by the memories of the horrors he survived. His desperation to find answers leads him to a dark underground world where he tracks down the recruiters who bring players into the game. The stakes rise quickly when Jihun confronts a recruiter at a secretive casino. Here, Jihun gets entangled in a deadly game, a twisted form of Russian roulette mixed with rock, paper, scissors. The stakes: one wrong move, and it's instant death. But the real twist comes at the end when Jihun kills the recruiter in a moment of pure rage. But is this the end? No. This sets up the larger conspiracy and the even more dangerous games to come. This episode sets the tone for the season, a deadly game, even outside the official arena. Episode 2, Halloween Party. In Episode 2, Jihun's investigation ramps up as he follows a lead to a Halloween party, where he believes he can find the man behind the whole operation, the mysterious front man. While Jihun is busy playing detective, we're introduced to a host of new characters, each with their own motives for being in the game. Among them is Kang No-yul, a North Korean defector who is quietly becoming a central figure. No-yul has her own complex agenda, adding layers to the already twisted web of deception. The tension builds as we see the elaborate, extravagant nature of the party, juxtaposed with the dark underworld of the game. Jihun's hunt for answers grows even more perilous when he becomes a target, leading to a suspenseful chase that ends with a shocking turn of events. In the end, Jihun uncovers information about the identity of the front man, but not without paying a price. The episode concludes with Jihun deciding to return to the games, but this time with a strategy. He plans to join as a player in order to infiltrate the inner workings of the deadly operation. Episode 3, 01. Now we're back in the game. Episode 3 sees Jihun and 455 new players entering the deadly tournament. After a night in a dark, isolated dormitory, the group wakes up to find themselves surrounded by masked guards, each with their own colored suits. The tension among the players is palpable, as they don't know whether to trust one another or fight to the death. The episode introduces a new twist. The game organizers have a new rule that allows players to vote whether to stop the game or continue. The twist: if a majority of players vote to stop, the prize pool is divided, and the game ends. Jihun tries to convince others that stopping would be the only way out, but his words fall on deaf ears as alliances begin to form and break apart. The first game is red light, green light, but with a deadly twist: players who move when they shouldn't are shot dead by snipers positioned all around the field. The atmosphere is suffocating, and as the players are slaughtered one by one, Jihun realizes the true terror of the game. The game ends in chaos, leaving everyone questioning whether they should continue or abandon hope. But there's a ray of hope. Jihun survives, and his quick thinking helps him avoid death. New alliances form as players realize that trust is their only hope for survival, even if it's fragile. Episode 4, 6 legs. Now that we've established the stakes, Episode 4 dives deeper into the emotional and psychological breakdowns of the players. The new game in this episode isn't like any we've seen before. The players must form teams of 5 for a 6-leg pentathlon, with a series of traditional children's games like dakji and spinning tops, each with its own deadly consequences. The catch: the team that loses a game will see one of their members eliminated. Jihun, now fully immersed in the game, forms alliances, but the pressure of competition soon wears down the group. Some players struggle to collaborate, while others use the chaos to manipulate others to secure their spot. Meanwhile, Kang No-yul, who has been covertly working against the game organizers, continues to investigate the backdoor deals surrounding the operation. Her rebellion against the system becomes a central plotline, adding a moral dilemma to the story. The psychological toll of the game is starting to show. Loyalty is tested, and trust becomes a rare commodity. But one thing is clear, the players are trapped in a cycle of survival where each decision could mean the difference between life and death. Episode 5, One More Game. This episode amps up the tension even further. Players are now fully aware of the stakes, and Jihun's survival instincts are put to the test. This episode is all about strategy, how to outsmart the game without getting caught in the crossfire of betrayal. The group is faced with a new, terrifying game that forces them to make a decision, cooperate or sacrifice their humanity. The consequences are dire for those who fail. Jihun's inner conflict is palpable, as he has to balance the need to survive with the desire to protect others. But the deeper he gets into the game, the more ruthless he becomes. At the same time, Jun-ho, the cop from Season 1 who infiltrated the games as a guard, is getting closer to uncovering the truth. But the question looms, can he survive long enough to expose the truth before it's too late? Episode 6, OX. In this pivotal episode, the rebellion begins to form. Jihun and his team make their move, realizing that they can no longer trust the game's orchestrators. This leads to an epic showdown between players and soldiers. The power struggle shifts, and alliances fall apart as players scramble to maintain control of their fates. The game of OX is introduced, and it becomes the ultimate test of trust and survival. Jihun must decide whether to stick with his allies or betray them for his own safety. And in a shocking twist, Player 01, the seemingly harmless old man who has been a source of comfort, reveals his true allegiance, shaking Jihun to the core. This is a moment of true reckoning for Jihun. His moral compass is tested, and as we see the repercussions of his decisions unfold, the intensity builds to a fever pitch. Episode 7, Friend or Foe. This episode delivers the ultimate betrayal. Jihun's alliance fractures, and trust is completely shattered. The rebellion is squashed, and players are forced into one last desperate fight for survival. The twisted morality of the game reaches its apex, with the frontman pulling the strings from behind the scenes. As the final players are whittled down, Jihun is forced to confront the brutal truth of the game's origins. The players are mere pawns in a larger, systemic conspiracy, one that has been going on for years. With the stakes higher than ever, the question becomes, will Jihun and his allies escape? Or will the games continue to haunt them forever? The episode ends with a shocking revelation about the true power behind the game and leaves the door wide open for a mind-blowing season finale. Squid Game Season 2 is an emotional roller coaster, diving even deeper into the human psyche and the twisted game of survival. It's a masterclass in storytelling, blending action, suspense, and deep moral questions in a way that keeps viewers hooked until the very end. Jihun's quest for justice, the players' fight for survival, and the shocking betrayals leave us on the edge of our seats, eagerly awaiting the next season. The stakes are higher than ever, and one thing is clear, the true game has only just begun. So, stay tuned. The story isn't over yet.